Now we are once again over here with your novel, David Copperfield. So far you have studied that David had got the job in Dr. Strong's school, and this was offered by his dear friend Ains. Now today we are going to do a new lesson, that is My Life Becomes Busy. Dr. Strong was delighted to see me. We soon agreed that I would work 2 hours every morning before going on to Spenlow in Jawkins for the day, and then return for 2 or 3 hours every night, except Saturday and Sunday. So this was going to be the routine of David. He's going to work at both the places, means practicing his law as well as working with Dr. Strong. I was very busy now, up at 5 in the morning and home at 9 or 10 at 9, but I was happy because I was doing this for Dora. I had not seen her since my aunt's bad news, but she was going to see Miss Mills in a few days and we would meet there. So now David's life had become too busy. He was working at 2 places, at Dr. Strong as well as at Spenlow and Jawkins, and he used to get up at 5 o'clock early in the morning, but now he seems to be happy and glad with his life because he was all doing this to make Dora happy, to prove himself to be a responsible person, and he has to earn his livelihood. Now for such a long time, means after getting that bad news about Aunt Betsy that she was not having any property left with her, she had not seen her for such a long time, but she was sure that she was going to come to see Miss Mills in a few days, and then they would have a meeting again. And then I received a letter from Mr. Micawber inviting me to visit him. He told me that he had found work. He was going to leave London with his family. I was glad that something really had turned up at last and was happy to accept. The invitation was for that same evening. Now, it was very fortunate to see Mr. Micawber again, and it was a good news that Mr. Micawber had got a job and he was going to leave London with his family. And now David was very happy that something really had turned up, means a life of Mr. Micawber had also changed, and it had taken a good turn that he is going to be self-dependent now. When I arrived at the lodging house where the Micawbers lived, I was very pleased to see them all again. "And where are you going?" I asked Mr. Micawber. "To Canterbury. In fact, my dear Copperfield, I have agreed to work for our friend Heap, to serve him as his personal clerk." I stared at Mr. Micawber, who greatly enjoyed my surprise. Now you know that David Copperfield did not like, as well as Mr. Heap was not a good fellow. He was very surprised, shocked, and might be angry to listen to the new news that was Mr. Micawber's decision to work with Heap at his office and serve him as his personal clerk. Now David knew that Mr. Micawber was not so cunning. He would not be able to make out the tricky attitude of Uriah Heep. So he might be very upset to listen that his best friend was going to work with such a villain, and definitely not happy. But let's see in the next chapters that what would Mr. Uriah do with Micawber? How was he going to use Micawber for his own purpose? So that was all for the chapter. I hope you must have understood. Thank you.